Hello and welcome to this tarot video. I haven't done one of these in a while because for some reason I get very startled as soon as I put on a mic while I'm doing one of these sessions. But with the autumnal equinox around the corner on the 23rd of September, I thought this would be an amazing opportunity to kind of give a general what to expect, general advice, as the autumnal equinox deals with relationships of all sorts. It can be friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships. It is connected to Libra, which is about all things personal relationships, but also about art and ideals. So I'm really curious to look into what kind of advice we can get today. Obviously, this is a very general reading. If you're interested in a reading that is more about you and more specific to your situation, feel free to contact me over my website. Otherwise, let's get into it for now. Let's see what this equinox holds for us in terms of personal growth, but also specifically relationships. We're going to start off with some messages. I think I'm going to do this one. All of my cards are pre-shuffled, by the way, to kind of save time because I tend to babble anyway. Alrighty. Interesting. Can we have some more, please? One more, please. Okay. Wholeness and divination. That's very interesting. And we got two opposing forces, this one being fire, this one being water. Maybe I should say these cards are an oracle deck based on fruits and veg and all good things from the garden. So we've got divination and wholeness. Interesting. Let us see. One card, please. Only one card from this deck, please. One card. Okay. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? Because guess what new moon we just had? We just had a new moon in Virgo on the 15th. I'm just seeing. Let me just adjust this. I hope you can see well. Again, I'm not the greatest with this kind of stuff in terms of filming it. But yes, so we just had a new moon in Virgo. New moons in Virgos are all about learning to be practical and to find through structure a way to achieve our goals more. It also brings selflessness into perspective more and into our lives more. As this says, a time to give rather than take. With the divination and wholeness, there seems to be an element of trust, of potentially having a bit more connection to your spiritual side, to your side, there's a side of you that trusts without necessarily any sort of evidence. And that is very, very interesting. But let us see what else comes up. These are just starters. We're going to go a bit deeper. All right. What general messages do we have about the autumnal equinox in relation to the personal growth as well as our interpersonal relationships, please? One, two, three. Oh, interesting. Okay. And we are going to take one more for now, please. Okay. All right. Interesting. So there might be a lot going on internally, my friends. Which after August, which was all about internal stuff, might make a lot of sense for you guys. But let's look a little bit deeper, shall we? Why I'm speaking about internal, it being very internal is because all of these cards are on their heads. When something is on its head, when it's in reverse, as you would call it, this can mean it's related to self. It is something that is going on within, but it can also mean it is a blockage or an opposition to the energy on the card. Excuse me. So with the 10 of Wands is someone who has a lot to carry, right? Someone who's really struggling to carry all the responsibility that's on their back. And this is, when it's on its head, it can be a sort of, I can't do this anymore, a breaking point. But it can also mean it's an internal thing of like having too much responsibility that you put on yourself, expecting a bit too much on yourself. And with it being with the second card being the coin, the Ace of Coins or Pentacles, this is all about a new beginning in terms of financial and material gain. The coins speak about all things material in the world. So it might be that you've been trying to sort of build something new materially in your life, or you've been really craving that internally and you feel very overwhelmed with the expectations you're setting on yourself. And why are you feeling this way as well? Because you might have expected really fast outcome. The Eight of Wands is about really fast things happening really fast, but it's on its head, right? So it might be happening really slow instead. And we've got another coin here. You can really see, I'll get into it. Let me finish. My thoughts go too fast these days. So you have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is someone who has achieved material success. He is someone who he's made it financially speaking, like he is set, he is good. He got there through hard discipline, through maybe being a little bit greedy sometimes. But that is an energy that this kind of position is something that we seem to be aiming towards collectively. And we don't feel like we are there yet. So that is very, very interesting. With what I was thinking about earlier, we've got the wands. The wands are all about our motivation, our energy, the spark that lights the flame, while the coins are the material. So it really seems like we've been focusing a lot on making things happen, if that makes sense. And I think we need to back off a little bit. I think that is the message here. And this can be, again, talking about relations. This can also be in terms of relationships or trying to build a business of some sort. Either way, we are being told to kind of step back a little bit and just trust and let things take the time that they need to take, if that makes sense. I'm going to get just a few more cards. 3 more cards, please. 3 more cards. 1. 2. And 3. In case you wonder how I pick my cards, there is no particular way to do so. My belief of tarot is that it is all about just trusting your intuition and trusting what comes up. So yes, you will see me pick cards in the most random ways. That's just how I feel I should do it in that moment. Right, interesting, my friends. Look at all those staffs. Okay, very cool. Very interesting. All right. So what do we have here? We have the Knight of Wands. The knights are always striving towards something. And this knight is striving towards trusting themselves. They're striving towards having more trust and feeling like they are in power. And I feel like that might be something you've been struggling. And through trying to get all your little chess pieces together in terms of the material in your life, you might have been doing that in an effort to feel like you're more in power, or you're more, like you can trust. I hope I'm making sense. I'm sorry. I'm really still getting used to recording myself when I do tarots, because normally I'm just having a conversation with someone, right? It's a bit different than talking to a camera. We got the Ace of Wands. And look, we've got really reflective, because we've got the Ace of Wands in reverse, right? So there's a blockage of a start of motivation, a block of trust. And that is right next to our blockage in terms of materializing something new. So yes, it is very much related. The materialization isn't happening because there is a lack of trust. And with this equinox coming up, we might be really pushed to deal with these things, to deal with the dissatisfaction that we've been feeling. And rather than trying harder and harder and harder, we just got to accept that things are not working out right now as we want them to, and that's okay. With the Seven of Cups, this is our first cups. The cups are all about your emotions. And the Seven of Cups is someone he's got so many options. You see, he's got all these options that he can't pick. It is almost like he's stuck in the haze of it all, in what he thinks it is rather than what it actually is. And I think I can see, like, emotionally speaking, you might have been dealing with different people, relationally or just business-wise, just interpersonally. There might have been a lot of different emotions coming up related to different people. And it's just making your head feel even messier, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think we've all been feeling a little overwhelmed potentially. Very, very interesting. But let us see. I also have this here. I don't want to make this too long of a video, because this is just meant as a little ditty. Do you say that? Little ditty? I'm not sure. Because I just felt like it. And if I make it too long, I don't think it's very useful. Unless we're in person, because then we can go in and really look at stuff. But when it's this general, I'm not sure. I want to grab 3 little messages. Because I think one thing I can say about this equinox coming up, I feel like it's 4, interesting. I feel like we might be going through a lot of different things, everyone individually. But what we are being reminded of is to trust. There's been a lack of trust, even though we really want to trust, because we aren't seeing results around us or because we are overwhelmed with what we expect. We are being held back from receiving, if that makes sense. Trusting means without any sort of evidence. That is trust. So if you are waiting for something to be evidence, for your belief, then that is not the case. That's not going to happen. And that's going to keep you stuck in this, or going to keep you in a place of potentially also hedonistic, emotional, just fulfillment. And I hope it makes sense, or I hope it's self-explanatory that hedonistic, emotional fulfillment is not actually fulfilling at all. But let's see what messages are coming up. Everything happens for a reason. Time to shift your perspective so you can understand. Well, isn't that interesting? Because today I'm not finding my words, so maybe that happens for a reason too. But I'm really sensing that it's about trusting that things are going well. Like, even if you don't feel like they are going well. And emotions might be running higher than usual. I mean, I'm not surprised. We do have a full moon coming up as well, by the way. And what makes you happy? And you see how I wrote you big? I've actually never pulled this one ever in readings, which is super interesting that it came up now. So I think some of you might have had a focus on the material, on what they believe to be their goal or their passion. And because of that focus on and that expectation, things aren't going well. And you need to ask yourself, what makes you happy? Not what do you want, but what makes you happy long term? Not just short term, long term. And for any artists out there, my friends, your art inspires the future. I think I have to hear that myself. I really hope this kind of work can help people. That is why I do it. And I hope that there's a message here for you. If there isn't, maybe I'll see you in the next one. We'll see. But either way, I wish you the best on this journey of yours, on the next, on your next stage of life, next things you're doing. And just remember, it's okay for things like life is all about ups and downs. It's all about things going well, things not going well. And when we are highly emotional, we might perceive things to be very good or very bad, and then we get stuck in that emotion for longer than it needs to be there. And just practicing trust without expectation is something that I would suggest. And for example, divination, like what we are doing right now, is a great exercise for that kind of stuff. Because there is literally no reason for me to trust in what I'm saying or for you to trust in what I'm saying, other than if it makes you happy. Is it making sense to you? Is it helping you? And if it is, amazing. And it's a great exercise to learn to trust more, for sure. And don't forget, it's about what you can leave behind in this world. What you gain doesn't bring you anything unless you can give it on to someone else, all right? Okie dokes, we've got our 15 minutes in. I hope this made sense, and I hope it's not the worst video ever. I will try and do these more often so I feel more comfortable. And again, for anyone who is interested, I do personal readings, and I promise you I am less stressed when doing so. I'm just not a person for cameras. Hopefully we'll see each other soon again. And until then, I wish you a really good day. Take care of yourself. Bye.